A very good evening and welcome to NTV Tonight. My name is Ken Mijungu, live from the Deputy President's official residence in Karen. We're also live from the Nation Center with Mark Masai shortly. And of course, today is a big day for the Nation Media Group and the entire nation because the Deputy President is going to be speaking to us about several issues, including his relationship with the President, with opposition leader Raila Odinga. We'll talk about the BBI debate and if he will be attending on Sunday in Mombasa, the first meeting that his team will be attending. And of course, there are other issues that we'll be talking about, including the issue of being a hustler. But first, let's take you back to Nation Center where Mark Masai is on standby. Mark?
My friend, that's going to be one interesting conversation, much awaited, of course, across the country from the second in command. And we'll get right to that in a bit. But first, the top stories of the day.
Tonight, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Chief Justice David Maraga agree to disagree.
I would be the last person to stand and appear like nakusomea. Mimi si rika yako.
I'm happy to hear from the Chief Justice that this year may be a year when Kenyans will get answers to these issues.
But the sticky issues of convictions and budget cuts still pull them apart. Also ahead, of flashy arrests and dim results.
The wheels of justice remain very slow in achieving the process of full trial to prosecution and final conviction.
Calls for more bite than bark as Kenya scores poorly in Global Corruption Index. Plus, all aboard, the BBI bus heads to the coast, a cautious welcome to the dissenting voice index. Plus, all aboard, the BBI bus heads to the coast, a cautious welcome to the dissenting voices joining the journey.
And I don't think that there's any force that can stop this train from moving.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. David Agondo is our sign language interpreter tonight. And yes, we'll be getting to that interview with Ruto in a bit with Ken Mijungu live from his residence in Karen. But first things first, the top stories. The executive and the judiciary now appear to be changing their relations from frosty to cordial. That is if the show by the president and Chief Justice David Maraga is anything to go by. The two seem to have agreed to tone down the harsh statements against each other and pursue convictions in the war against corruption. The head of state, however, still accused judicial officers of working with cartels in stalling these cases. Mel Miendo reports that slashing of the judiciary's budget remains a point of division.
At the center of the long-standing dispute between the executive and the judiciary has been the lack of convictions from the courts in the war on graft. While the two leaders expressed a rare show of unity going forward, the head of state still has a warning for officials opening their doors to graft cartels.
Mimi sijui wanaingia kwenu, sitaki kuwataja hapa kwa sababu mimi sina vita na mtu. Nyinyi wenyewe mnawajua wanaingia ofisi. Hapana, fungeni hii project. Na anafunga project kwa sababu ya contractor ambaye failed to get a job.
The president is still unrelenting in the quest for convictions and results from the third arm of government.
Surely, if we are working for the same public interest, I ask myself, why is it that 99% of these cases are filed by one person? And you, as a munampatia same day, hata hamngojei ati muambia kuja next week. Same day, chukua hii, funga hiyo, nafunga hiyo, nafunga hii, nafunga hii, nafunga hii.
Austerity measures have hit the judiciary hard, and the CJ has not shied away from expressing dissatisfaction with the budget cuts.
I make calls, Your Excellency, and the calls are not responded to. We have abrupt budget cuts, which brought some of the functions of the judiciary to a ground them to a halt.
Nonetheless, the two leaders appear to be bearing the hatch after years of a tumultuous relationship which began in the wake of the annulment of the 2017 elections.
I would be the last person to stand and appear like nakusomea. Mimi si rika yako. Mimi si rika yao wengine. You play from a different league. You play from a senior league.
The executive and the judiciary are now speaking with one voice. On one side, the judiciary is asking for support. On the other side, the executive is asking the judiciary to confront every issue on a personal side with regards to judges, magistrates, and exactly how they administer justice to Kenyans. It is the Kenyans themselves that will be the judge of that. Mel Miendo, NTV, at the Supreme Court in Nairobi.
While the president may have opted to go easy on the judiciary, other stakeholders are still not letting up on accusing it of frustrating justice by the slow rate in convicting individuals implicated in mega scandals. The National Multi-Sectoral Forum says the delays by the courts had slowed down the fight. It has also called for implementation of lifestyle audits on public servants to weed out individuals said to have acquired wealth through dubious means. NTV Silas Apollo reports.
Close to a year since it hosted the first ever national conference on anti-corruption, the Multi-Sectoral Forum has given what it terms as its status update on the fight. The team says that while the efforts by President Uhuru Kenyatta have been commendable so far, the country is not out of the woods yet. The forum has hit out at the judiciary for the failure to convict a single individual implicated in a mega scandal.
Despite the various arrests and charges in court preferred against various persons in 2019, the wheels of justice remain very slow in achieving the process of full trial to prosecution and final conviction.
Isn't it a bit odd that somebody who is having a case with his neighbor about the land boundary, finally he's in jail? But when it comes to somebody who stole 21 billion, and it is a very recent case, not like you're going to be going back and digging 20 years to get the evidence, nothing happens.
President Kenyatta has in the past issued directives seeking to beat the rot. This include lifestyle audits and the issue of conflict of interest. These have in some instances been criticized and termed as pronouncements for the cameras without much follow-up.
We make a lot of money as lawyers when we go to represent people in court, yet we are the lawmakers. So we become the judge and we become everything.
Lifestyle audits cannot just be done in the public sector. They have to be done also in the private sector. So even companies must be able, with due reason, to have policies in place to do lifestyle audit on their employees.
The fight against corruption has also been cited as a battle to secure Kenya's youth and future.
Young people have no models so far, and the few models that they have refused to look up to because they are torn between trying to achieve their aspirations, trying to set up a livelihood for themselves, and doing the right thing.
The war corruption has been cited as a way to a better Kenya, but the frustrations have been robbing Kenyans not only of their resources, but also of hopes and dreams. Silas Apollo, NTV.
And as the fight against corruption continues, the battles in the political sphere are still on the rise. Leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto may not get an opportunity to speak at the Mombasa Building Bridges Initiative rally this weekend. The group's move to attend the event has been met by warnings from the ODM party leader Raila Odinga and other leaders allied to him and President Uhuru Kenyatta. NTV senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi reports that the deputy president says nobody should issue conditions on a public event.
The political heat is set to pitch tent in the coast this coming weekend, with more attention drawn there after leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto, who said they would attend the Mombasa chapter of the Building Bridges Initiative rallies. ODM party leader Raila Odinga has welcomed them, but issued a statement of caution.
It will be very misguided and unfortunate for anybody to try to think that he can sabotage this exercise. This is a people's exercise, and I don't think that there's any force that can stop this train from moving.
The Coast region's political leaders are set to meet Friday to come up with an agreeable memorandum to be presented at the rally, saying they are keen on the Coast agenda being given priority.
Huu si mkutano wa siasa, huu si mkutano wa kujiletea ubabe.
What we want is to achieve the objective of ensuring that we change the lives of our people.
Kama utatoka mahali unatoka ukiwa na agenda ya kuja kwa mkutano ati upate fursa ya kupiga siasa au ya kutumia ile microphone, ole wako.
Deputy President William Ruto says the BBI rallies, which are taxpayer funded, are open to all Kenyans and should therefore have no conditions set for attendance.
BBI si ya mtu, na hakuna mtu wako na nafasi ya kutuambia wewe umeandikwa, wewe hujaalikwa. Kwani BBI ni yako? Kwani BBI ni Kenya ni yako? Wewe unatualika kama nani?
In a statement, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has indicated his willingness to attend the event in Mombasa, saying he has missed the first two because of commitments outside the country. In an apparent readiness for post-Mombasa, Odinga met different groups of leaders from Mount Kenya, calling on them to prepare the ground for the BBI rallies, expected to be held in the region early February. He met senators from the region who had felt left out of the planning, then Governors Kiraito Moronge and Francis Kimemia, and a host of influential business persons from the region.
We generally also discuss the issues of development in Central Kenya region. They've expressed to me concerns which the people of the region have, and I've also explained to them how we think that some of these problems can be solved.
We would want to know how our interests are going to be safeguarded in whatever government structure that is going to come out of the BBI process.
However, Third Way Alliance Party leader Ekuru Aukot has dismissed the BBI as a political tool disguised as a mwananchi agenda.
This is President Uhuru Kenyatta's gift to his political brother Raila so that he can remain relevant in the politics of Kenya.
With the Mount Kenya BBI chapter expected next month, Raila Odinga is already making a series of meetings that are aimed at softening the ground and make it more welcoming when he does make that all-important trip. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV in Nairobi County.
It's 10 minutes past the hour. You're watching NTV Tonight. I know you're not watching even this shot, but you're watching this shot right here. And that is Deputy President William Ruto at his residence in Karen with Ken Mijungu. About to speak in a bit, and no holds barred, of course. He'll be answering all the questions that you expect after this break.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
For maximum cavity protection.
and now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
It feel good, Coca-Cola and food Monday to Sunday. We're all chasing taste. Let's just grab a bite, the excuse to drink Coca-Cola every single day. So we feel forever be real, together stay free, whatever else. No, we can't stop, we wanna taste the feeling. Nothing can ever bring us down.
Taste the feeling.
Oh, yani aje, mimi ndo Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igikosi yote. Siri ni hii real mpya ya pink. Na kusho mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia aerial touch of down mpya tu.
kila mtu ajipikie yake. Na vyombo za nani? Kwa nani?
Am I not getting some?
Ice cream ya wageni. Wewe nitakuletea maji kwa jikoni.
A girl's gotta eat to keep up with you, Mr. Guns.
Well, that's absolutely correct.
This festive season, get a decoder with subscription at an unbelievable festive offer of only 1,499 shillings. You can also pay 1 month and enjoy 2 weeks free on a higher bouquet. For more information, call 0719 077 077.
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Welcome back. As we prepare to cross over to Karen for the live interview with Deputy President William Ruto, let's hear some of the concerns that Kenyans have. We asked people in various counties what they would want the DP to address in the interview. He's listening, and this is what they had to say.
Is everything people are saying about him true concerning the land grabbing and the things with the dams? Are they true? Are they real?
Shida ni usalama tu, ndio kitu ambacho inatusumbua pale Kisauni. Sasa sijui kama yeye vile ni deputy president anaweza kutusaidia vipi kuhusu ile swala la usalama.
Tumesoma, watu wako hapo nje hawana kazi. Kiongea kwa maofisi wenye wako ni wazee. Mngesaidiaje vijana mtupatie ile kazi ambayo mlituahidi?
Tunataka tujue maneno ya BBI ni tujue tueleane, kwa sababu tunaona kuna mashita kitoko. Tujue BBI ni nini.
What is he planning to do concerning the state of unemployment in our youth and in this country?
Right now he's telling us that he'll do better in 2022. My question has always been to him, what is it that he'll do in 2022 that he cannot do today as the number 2?
To date, nobody is talking about the issue of the stadium. It is now fallen on deaf ear. What happened?
Sisi wakaaji wa Baringo tuna barabara ambaye kutoka Marika mpaka Machongoi. Hii imetusumbua kulete vitu kwa mambo ya usalama, kwa mambo haipitiki mara nyingi.
Mambo ya corruption. Hawa watu wote wameshikwa na wizi ya mali ya umma. Watatufanyaje especially Kiambu?
Ile miradi ulikuwa unaenda unafungua kwa sasa hakuna. Tukekuomba tu kama wa Kenya, please sahau yenye yalipita, kwanza sasa mtufanyie kazi.
Mimi nauliza William Ruto, ni mbinu gani ulichukua kuhusu PBI na hapa awali ulikuwa unakataa PBI ni mbaya?
Wakati walikuwa nauliza kura walikuwa pamoja. Sasa siku hizi president iko kando, deputy iko kando. Ni shida gani iko katikati hapa?
Sasa siku hizi president.
Right, of course, there are so many concerns, Deputy President, and thank you for inviting us to Karen to have this interview. There's so many concerns Kenyans have. We're going to be talking about those concerns shortly, but let me begin right from the top. The dailies have been running a story about a case that has been reopened by the DCI, an investigation that you cleared years ago. When you looked at that story and the dailies reporting it, were you a little bit concerned? Were you surprised by that story?
Well, Ken, first, welcome to the Hustlers Mansion.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to have a discussion with you and with Kenyans. The story you have alluded to doesn't take me by surprise. We've been here before. And every time there is succession politics, there are games and there are cabals and there are people who want in boardrooms and government offices to manipulate, let me say, politics so that in the hope that they can maybe install people who can serve their interests and not the people's interest.
Okay.
If you go back, the Moi succession had this kind of things. the Mwai Kibaki succession had these kind of things. In fact, because I wasn't a player in the Moi succession, I was a serious player in the Kibaki succession. And just remember, in the Kibaki succession, we had this case about the ICC orchestrated against Uhuru Kenyatta and myself.
Okay.
We had people who were hired to go to court here in Kenya after they didn't succeed at The Hague to stop us from running. We had people who were hired to go to court here in Kenya. They did not succeed.
Hired by your political opponents?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we had all manner of schemes. In fact, we had a cabal at the OP who went ahead to register a political party called UDF and tried to orchestrate a succession around UDF.
Okay.
President Kenyatta and I charted a course, and we won against all those cabals.
Okay.
This case, Ken, was political in 2004, as it is now.
Okay.
And the issues around that case are very clear. In fact, in the 2004 scenario, I didn't even have to defend myself because the case was so straightforward, it ended at no case to answer. I didn't even have to defend myself.
There was lack of evidence.
Because there was not lack of evidence. There was no case to answer because the case is straightforward. The debt belonged to KANU. The former president directed the Ministry of Lands to give a piece of land to KANU so that KANU can pay a debt where KICC was being held by Transnational as security. The land was issued, it was transferred, the money was paid, and every coin went to Transnational Bank.
Okay.
So there was no case. In fact, the magistrate asked if the money went to Transnational Bank and Transnational Bank have accepted that the money went to them, why is Ruto in court?
Why is Kulei in court and all those people?
But because we have a situation, maybe you might want to know, Ken, that aside from this case that has been resuscitated, I had a discussion with the Director General of NSIS late last year. And for your information, there are characters who have already sent people to Kenya to resuscitate the ICC cases against me.
So that's part of the cabal.
So there is, that concoction of people.
In other words, we are likely to see even much more of this.
They did not succeed in the Moi case.
Okay.
They did not succeed in the Kibaki scenario. I want to tell you, they will not succeed in this particular situation. In fact, their failure will be spectacular.
I'm just wondering, Your Excellency, why this particular case? I mean, they could have chosen to pick any case. Why would they pick this particular case that was so spectacularly won in 2004? Why this particular case?
You never know, Ken Michungu. You never know what they are cooking.
Is it
maybe there will be other cases.
Okay.
As I told you, they have already arrived at the ICC case. They are already looking for witnesses around to say, oh, this case did not end properly. I don't know what.
To resuscitate the ICC.
Because my political competitors want to make every effort to stop my candidature.
Okay, but you realize,
but you see,
Your Excellency, you realize the ICC case was left open by the prosecutor. It was not closed, so it can be opened. She left it open. She said, when new evidence resurfaces, it shall be opened. But I'm still going back to this question, why this case? Because, Your Excellency, with all due respect, a lot of land cases have touched on you. Are you an easy choice, especially when it comes to a case dealing with land? Could that be the reason why it's easy for them to pick a land case, forgetting about the ICC?
You see, when I was a very easy target in the NAC administration, That's why they try to look for a place. How do you slow down William Ruto? How do you stop this man? But you see, all the cases, whatever it is that they have gone to court with, they have never succeeded.
Okay.
And if I was guilty of anything, I want to tell you, Ken, I wouldn't be sitting here.
As the deputy president, of course. All right. The cabal, that's a big word. The cabal. Who are the cabal? Because I'm looking at the DCI and I'm looking at an office holder, appointee of the president, who can be hired and fired. You're part of the presidency. Who are the cabal? Who is within the cabal?
It is not for me to tell you. I am sure your guess is as good as mine.
All right, we'll come back to that question of corruption because it's a lot to discuss. But let's move to the BBI because we'll come back to that. Are you in Mombasa over the weekend?
The BBI, Ken, is a People of Kenya project. It is a program where every Kenyan, irrespective of your station, whether you are a mama mboga or you are a makanga, whatever your station, this is your opportunity to make your contribution, to give your opinion, to give your suggestions on how to take Kenya forward. It is not a place where you ask me whether I'm going to Mombasa or whether somebody has allowed who to go to Mombasa or whether who has given what conditions to who to go to this meeting or that meeting. People must stop arrogating themselves the prefecture to say, I am the prefect, I'm going to decide who comes here, I'm going to decide who goes there. My friend, this is an open public discussion. You can join today, you can join yesterday, you can join the next day. In fact, for your information, I have already talked to Yusuf Haji, and I have told him the day they begin their hearings, I want an opportunity to go and
present
my ideas, because I am seeing that after we had accepted BBI 1, and everybody said, well, this is a fairly good document. It captures everything from what the ordinary people want all the way to what the politicians want. But I see already the BBI 2, politicians want to hijack it. And they want to make it look like it is now a place where we are going to discuss positions.
Okay.
And how we are going to discuss sharing of positions. I want to tell you that while there will be a discussion about positions, there must be a discussion about opportunity for other Kenyans, for ordinary Kenyans who don't have a job. What is their stake? How do we, in a deliberate way, create jobs? How do we ensure that nobody is left behind? That is the discussion we must put on the table. It cannot continue the way I see it trying to continue, that we are going to discuss about this position, Prime Minister that, Deputy President this, and this position.
So, but is that a yes? Is that a yes that you'll be in Mombasa on Sunday?
I have told
over the weekend.
I have told you, Ken.
Yes.
That it is not for me to tell you whether I'm going to this meeting or that meeting. I'm going to have a discussion with my boss, and we will agree what the nature of attendance in any of these meetings, because, in my opinion, we want the best possible chance. Explain to me, Ken, honestly, how you are going to collect views in a rally. Just explain to me. How
the rallies are meant to educate, because they are sending even committee of experts to speak to the crowd.
You have listened to those rallies.
I have listened.
You listened to the rally in
Kakamega, the reason? Yes.
It was about Sugoi.
Which is
it was about William Ruto.
Your Excellency will get to that.
How will you put Sugoi and William Ruto in the final report of the BBI?
Before they spoke about William Ruto and Sugoi, there were a committee of experts that were on the podium to share the perspective of the BBI report with the people.
My friend.
They were there.
It was, I think, 5% of the meeting.
But you admit they were there. So there's a discussion on the BBI.
You know, if you are going to a meeting where 5% of the time is discussion on the subject and 95%
is about something else.
Insults and name calling and you see, Ken, let's be honest with ourselves. There were people who believed and wanted to drive a narrative that William Ruto is going to oppose the BBI. In fact, some of them were dazed the day I said we support the BBI. They said they have lost the opportunity because there are people who have been looking for an opportunity to create camps.
Okay.
Much as we are talking about unity and inclusivity, there are people who are hell-bent on creating camps of yes versus no.
We are going to discuss about the people.
When they didn't get that opportunity, just give me 1 minute. Yeah. When they didn't get that opportunity, they have gone to create rallies, right?
But it was the president who said,
and they want to make these rallies.
Said that in January you will be going out to sell this. It's the president who said.
The president said every Kenyan should be given a copy to read for themselves, and politicians should not go and pretend that they know everything. Every Kenyan should be given a chance to read.
And he also said,
these rallies are working against what the president said. But be that as it may, those who are driving these rallies believed that let's drive the rally so that we create a group of people who are attending the rallies and a group of people who are not attending the rallies, so that they achieve their original intention of creating camps.
Okay.
And I have told you, we will not give them an opportunity to create camps. We will not give them the opportunity to divide Kenyans. So we are going to attend the rallies.
Okay.
And every Kenyan is free to attend the rallies. And we want the Yusuf Haji-led committee to begin the hearings that are structured so that people can go and present their views in a structured manner. The rallies can continue with all the drama around it and with all the name calling if they must continue, and with everything else, that's fine. But we must also have, as was set up, the Yusuf Haji-led committee to present real opportunity for people to give their views so that we can bring on board the ideas, the suggestions of more Kenyans.
After the rally that happened in Kakamega, you came out to castigate that rally, the rally that happened in Kisii, and you even questioned where they're getting the money to run around, selling a document that has no opposition, in your own words.
Correctly.
Suddenly, you want to join them, and you have forgotten the aspect of where are they getting the money to run around these rallies, and you're saying you're going to attend. So where did we lose this aspect of where are they getting the money? You forgot about it.
This is my position, Ken. I still believe, up to now, that public resources should not be expended on these rallies. That is my position.
Which is okay.
And I am not sure whether public money is being used or not.
But why did you say it?
If public money is being used,
yes,
right? If public money is being used, then those who are using this public money will eventually, be called to account.
Okay.
If they have followed the due process, fine. If they will not have followed the due process,
they must
they must answer. But you are telling let me answer your second part of your saying as if I changed my mind.
No, you spoke about resources being wasted, and suddenly
resources being wasted. But I have said, even as we attend the rallies, it is my position that these rallies should not be organized using public resources.
Good enough.
Because
public
resources on matters to do with BBI are domiciled with the Haji committee.
Great. So
unless Haji committee finances these rallies and a structured mechanism of how to collect views is arrived at, then we must have it. We cannot have it both ways.
All right.
Lastly,
yes,
let me also say the following, because I think many Kenyans will believe, okay, did William Ruto change his mind?
Exactly.
Let me tell you, I have told you that as a leader in Kenya, I have a duty and a responsibility to look through schemes. When I realized that these rallies were being made to achieve the us versus them scenario, which failed when we all supported BBI, I said we're not going to give these people an opportunity to create an us versus them, because there are people who are looking for the opportunity to divide Kenyans on a document that every Kenyan has agreed to support.
Okay.
Number two, I saw that there was a scheme to try and adulterate and create and hijack the BBI and make it something that Kenyans did not say.
You mean ODM rallies? That's what you said, no, specifically.
I'm saying these rallies.
Yes.
Yeah,
but I mean, you call them ODM rallies.
90% as up until we begin to attend.
Yes.
90% of the attendees have been ODM.
Okay.
Yes, that's the reality.
But there's so many people from your government who attend the rallies. I don't think they're ODM. They're civil servants.
I'm telling you. 90%.
90%.
Of the people who have been attending are
All right.
supporters.
Let me flip the coin, Your Excellency. If these BBI rallies are being used to popularize ODM, what if I said your inspection projects around the country were also being used as your campaign platform? You are using inspection projects around the country to campaign because your surrogates will talk about 2022, but you will talk about development.
I take a lot of exception to surrogates, please.
Okay,
let's
I withdraw. Your allies,
language.
Your allies, yes. They go around and they're campaigning for you for 2022, and they're saying you're
Let
political.
me tell you, Ken, there is a world of a difference. World of a difference between the meeting that I attend as deputy president and these rallies. A world of a difference. When I go to every place, there is no mobilization of people. It is not a rally. When I go to open a road, when I go to open a water project, when I go to launch, today I was in Embakasi West. Because of our 100% transition, we are building additional classrooms. I went to launch an additional classrooms in 2 schools. Those are not rallies. These are meetings about our agenda.
Okay.
Don't forget that I am deputy president, I earn a salary, and I have a job. You cannot, for 1 minute, say that when I go to do the job which I was elected by the people of Kenya to do, to oversee government projects, to make sure that I listen to Kenyans on the ground on matters either that are not working, on priority areas that we have
You're
not,
campaigning, but
do
you agree with me that you...
So these rallies
yes.
is mobilization of people for 12 hours, seated, listening to rumors and insults.
That's
about
the other
Ruto.
The other
it's a world of a difference.
My interest is this.
It is a world of a difference.
My interest is this. When you go to the public rallies with your allies...
I never go to public rallies. I have never been to a public
When you
rally.
attend these forums...
It's not a forum. When I just say, when you go and open the road, or you go and open the school like I did today.
And you have a crowd, and we have issues of politics being propagated on the platform. Is that not also doing politics, taking advantage of your role as the deputy president and taking advantage of that platform that you have across the country to sell your agenda for 2022?
My friend, you know, I am a part of the people who created this government. How can I take advantage of my own government? What are you saying?
Because there are development forums.
This development forum
yes.
is I'm not a stranger. I am the one as part of this government who has orchestrated.
Which is
and
true.
For your information.
Yes.
If you are saying whether eventually the achievements of the Jubilee government will somehow be assigned to William Ruto, of course, yes, they will be assigned to William Ruto, you know, and the Jubilee Party, because we are the initiators of these projects and programs. So if you are saying, I am taking advantage, I mean, my friend, what are you saying?
My concern was more...
Are you saying
my concern was
I should not benefit...
No, that's not what I'm saying.
...from the fact that the Jubilee administration is rolling out a transformational program in Kenya Your Excellency,
this
that's not what I'm
administration
saying.
led by Uhuru Kenyatta, myself as
That's
deputy
not what I'm
president.
saying.
That's what you're saying.
Your Excellency, that's that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
Yes.
is the same. I'm flipping the coin on you.
Yes.
This rally should be about BBI and telling people what its contents are. And by the way, they don't have even the proper document. They haven't read it. So the politicians are telling them. I'm just flipping the coin. Don't you think the same advantage these politicians are taking on these platforms, the 90%, is perhaps the same advantage the people behind you are taking, not you, to campaign for you in your presence? And by the way, your boss has been concerned about this, about the political environment, about the politics that cannot cease, that goes on in the country all the time.
My friend Ken, I challenge anybody in Kenya. Every place I have gone, including where I was today, I am so clear in my mind what my assignment is.
Okay.
Today, for example, let me give you today. If you open the clip and you are patient to listen to my statement from start to finish, I was discussing about 100% transition, which is government policy. I was discussing about the regeneration program of roads, which covers Eastlands. I was discussing about the water problem in Eastlands, where we are constructing a big pipeline worth 1.5 billion from Kiambu to Embakasi. I was discussing about sanitation, and I was informing the people of Embakasi that in June this year, we will be going back there with the president because we have a 10 billion program for sanitation of 200,000 households in Eastlands.
So basically,
that is the
development.
and I do that in every meeting because I know what my job is.
Your Excellency,
I am paid
the
for
concern
it,
is
and
not
I
you.
do with a lot of passion.
Your Excellency,
if it is not about
it's
me,
not about you.
if
It's
it is
the
not about
people
me,
you
my
go
brother,
with to
if
the
it is not about
political
me,
forums.
why don't you look for those people and ask them, why are you asking me the question?
I'm looking for you to ask you, why do you allow them to do that on the platform? Because you speak last. Why don't you challenge them not to do that?
For your information, many of these people are elected leaders in their own right. They are not my appointees. They are not my employees. They speak sometimes issues about the people. And in fact, many of them articulate issues. They tell me, Mr. Deputy President, this road has stalled. Mr. Deputy President, you guys promised us electricity. We've gotten only so many transformers. You promised us matters to do with expansion of universal health care. We haven't gotten this facility, we haven't gotten that facility.
Okay.
But you see, of course, the media chooses what to air.
All right.
And sometimes it's all politics, and people think that was all that was said.
Good enough, Your Excellency. Now that we are clear on the BBI, and I know you will attend the BBI forum, let's talk about the handshake briefly. Has your position changed about the handshake, or do you support the handshake?
Why are you asking a rhetorical question?
I want to know, has your position shifted now that you are supporting the BBI with a handshake? Because you believe that Raila Odinga came in to scuttle the Jubilee Party. And we'll talk about that. But has your position changed about the handshake?
Let me tell you, my friend. The handshake was a wonderful idea by His Excellency the President. And in fact, for your information, before the handshake came to be, it was a discussion that His Excellency the President had discussed with me, right? And we had agreed that it's necessary to bring the political temperatures down. The Honorable Raila Odinga has reached out, and I have said before, and I will repeat again, even before the Honorable Raila reached out to Uhuru Kenyatta, he reached out to me.
Do you regret not taking that handshake olive branch from Raila, when Raila Odinga reached out to you? Do you regret not doing it?
I don't regret.
You don't?
Because
yes,
I wanted, as Jubilee, you know, I am not the leader of Jubilee. I am not the president, right? I deferred to Uhuru Kenyatta when we folded URP and formed Jubilee as a party. And Uhuru Kenyatta being president and being the leader of Jubilee, if there was any approach from any corner, it should be through him. And for your information, every time Raila Odinga reached out to me, I informed His Excellency the President.
Okay.
All right. So you support the handshake, but as Deputy President, we see a lot of times that you're also frustrated with this handshake, especially the people that perceive you as not pro-handshake. I've heard your allies speak about your frustrations. Today I want you to tell Kenyans if indeed you feel a little bit or at most some frustration with your own government. Because there are a lot of people who see you as an outsider of the handshake.
Ken, you have talked so much about allies and these other people. You know, if you tell me who they are, I can help you so that I can arrange so that you can ask them. You know, please, this interview is between me
and you. I understand you, Deputy
me
President, but you know the people I'm speaking about. You know the people I'm speaking about.
Why don't you get an appointment and speak to them?
That's why I said today I want you to tell me if you as the Deputy President feel frustrated with your own government. Do you feel frustrated?
Why would you come to that conclusion?
Because you look frustrated, Deputy President.
Oh, the way
the way you look, your body language in public forums.
You
look frustrated.
Are you?
With your
do
own
you have
government?
certain gifts, Ken, to try and know whether somebody is?
All right, let me bring it
which I'm
closer
not aware
home.
of.
When you complain about civil servants who are taking advantage of being in the civil service and misusing their powers and even going to politics, as the Deputy President, don't you think it's beyond you, or beneath you rather, to complain about civil servants who I will assume you should be the supervisor of the government business? When you talk about them and we look at it in terms of you are frustrated by what they are doing, and instead of addressing them in your boardrooms, you address them in political rallies. Don't you think probably from the outsiders you have tried to correct this from the boardrooms and you're unable, and then you have to take it to the political platforms?
So are you saying, Ken, because there was a circular issued by the head of public service that ministers and public servants should not participate in politics around the BBI. Are you saying that is a sign of frustration as well?
No.
So?
I'm concerned with what you say in the platforms. That's what concerns me. The circular memo is okay.
Like what?
Like complaining that civil servants are taking advantage of their positions and using it for unintended reasons. Like if you want me, you have named your team, not you again. Your team has named Karanja Kibicho. They've named Fred Matiang'i, and they've accused them of misusing their powers. They've been explicit on this.
You see, I would really want us to keep this interview as between me and you. These people you call allies, they are leaders in their own right. You can invite them for an interview, and you can ask them.
All right. So you are not frustrated by any civil servant. Even if you speak about it, it's because of an extension of the circular that was made. And you're just telling them,
absolutely,
this is not...
it is my position, and I have voiced it, that public servants should serve the people of Kenya.
But why on the platform, Your Excellency? Why on political platform?
What is wrong with that?
Why don't you address it in the boardroom?
What is wrong with saying it in public?
Because it looks as though you're complaining to the public.
That is the official position.
It
is not something we are hiding under the carpet. The president has said so in public. It doesn't show. It doesn't mean it is a sign of. For example, the other day when the president was addressing the security agencies, he said, whoever is going to mess up in one station will not be transferred to another station.
Exactly.
I mean, so we communicate in public. There is no big story there.
Okay. The other issue is when you began your journey with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, we saw a lot of friendship. We saw a lot of bromance, if I may call it, colloquial language. There's a lot of love. You were in matching shirts and ties, and at one time you're even holding your hands. Called press conferences to announce the cabinet. You were right there. Deputy President, we have a feeling that that friendship between you and the President is gone. The bromance is gone. The love is gone.
Ken, I have had many stories, and I have read many headlines. The marriage is has died. Bromance and love. My friend, Uhuru Kenyatta is married to Margaret. I am married to Rachel. There is no marriage of business here. We were elected, people of Kenya, to do a job. Yeah? Uhuru Kenyatta as president, me as his assistant. Right? What you should be asking me is, are you delivering on the job that you are given by Kenyans?
I'm going to ask you about that, Your Excellency.
So, style, what you're saying is neither here nor there.
It is, because that's what the picture you showed us, Your Excellency.
Again, you have gone back to these skills you have, reading, I don't know,
But it's the truth. It's no longer there. It's no longer there.
That's according to you. Yeah? That's according to you.
Is there a point that you have heard that perhaps you are fighting the president? You're against the president. Have you heard this narrative?
I have heard.
Yes. Are you fighting the president?
For your, just before I, by way of answering.
Yes.
Many of the people who are running this narrative, William Ruto does not respect Uhuru Kenyatta, the president. William Ruto is against the president. William Ruto is fighting the president. These people, many of them, are people in NASA. People who have never voted for Uhuru Kenyatta. Let me tell you, Ken, where we began with Uhuru Kenyatta. I knew Uhuru Kenyatta in 1998, 1999. For your information, even the first time for Uhuru Kenyatta to come to Parliament as a nominated member, the former President Moi sent me to Makto to resign so that Uhuru Kenyatta can be nominated as a member of Parliament. And Uhuru Kenyatta knows. I had a rough time with Makto, persuading him, and he gave me a list of conditions. And I explained to the former president, and I explained to Uhuru Kenyatta. That's how far back I go. For your information, in 2002, when former president decided that Uhuru Kenyatta is going to be our candidate, very many people in Kenya gave lukewarm support. I stood by Uhuru Kenyatta up to where he conceded. Let me tell you a story. When we were sitting in State House, as the results came in, we were almost 50 members of parliament. But when the time came for Uhuru Kenyatta to go and make the concession speech, we left State House 50, we arrived Serena 3. Only.
Okay.
And one of the 3 was yours truly, William Ruto.
Was the other
Let me
one?
also tell you, yeah, you have the clip, you will see. Let me also tell you, when 2017 and 2013 came, yeah, and Uhuru Kenyatta was looking for somebody to support him, Kalonzo Musyoka refused, Musalia refused, even Eugene refused. The only serious politician who was willing to cede his ambition for Uhuru Kenyatta was William Ruto.
The arrival of Raila Odinga.
And you see,
yes.
So if you are talking about respect, surely, if there is one person who has supported Uhuru Kenyatta at every turn, the only people who maybe have done more for Uhuru Kenyatta in terms of political issues is maybe Margaret, his wife, who supports him, and members of his family. There is no politician who has supported Uhuru Kenyatta more than myself.
Again, I'll go back to this.
And so all these shenanigans and stories being peddled by people who are insulting Uhuru Kenyatta the other day with calling him all manner of names, calling him all manner of names. Today, they want to give me a lecture
on how to relate
on
with
supporting Uhuru Kenyatta. Surely,
honestly,
give me a break, please.
While you have unfeatured, while you have respected the president, again, I'll go back to this and I'll mention it. The people you work with still attack the president on the podium and make demands which look like they're doing it on your behalf.
You see, again, you are going to people and allies. And these are not babies. They are not my employees. These are people who you...
Why don't you stop them, Deputy President?
When you, Ken Michungu,
yes,
can deal with them.
Why don't you stop them?
And you see,
yes,
this is the narrative that has been sold. Yeah, that is being sold by the media. Or these people don't respect Uhuru Kenyatta.
But we don't put words in their mouth, Your Excellency. They speak.
The president.
They speak.
Let me tell you, if there is respect, if there is loyalty that must be displayed, there is nobody who has displayed loyalty to Uhuru Kenyatta and respect for His Excellency better than myself. And for your information,
yes,
being a Christian myself, I know very well that Uhuru Kenyatta is not president by mistake or by default. President Uhuru Kenyatta is president today because God has ordained so.
Why would you stop these people, Deputy President?
I have a duty to make sure that I respect the president, I am loyal to the president.
Your Excellency, that's not in dispute. My question is, you speak last.
These other people.
Yes, I will not speak about them.
These other people.
You speak last.
Why don't you go and ask them?
You speak last. Why don't you correct them? You speak last in every forum. Why don't you just tell them what you said about my boss is not right?
You will be surprised as to how much war I have with all these people.
Okay.
And even if you ask them, more often than not, I actually want to speak and finish the meeting even before other people speak. In fact, many of the times, they complain that they are harassed, that they are told, you cannot say this, you cannot speak for long, you cannot make this demand. I have gone out of my way. But you see,
you can't control them.
You are dealing with politicians.
People.
You are dealing with people who have their own minds and heads. And for your information, please, why doesn't everybody carry their cross?
Which is true, but I'm asking you in that spirit of respect, and
to carry the cross.
You're the senior most politician in the Jubilee government after President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Correct.
In terms of rank.
Correct.
Because you speak last, and this is the last time I'm asking you this question, and you say they don't listen to you, would you stop working with them? Because the crowd that is always behind you is the same crowd all over. Why don't you stop working with them?
Let me tell you, my friend, more often than not, maybe you think, there is this narrative that William Ruto is working with this, is going around with this person, William Ruto is paying money. In fact, I've heard those stories, paying this one to come to this meeting, paying this one to come to this meeting. My brother, I go to many meetings. When I go to the coast, you will find that it is members of parliament from the coast who are there. When I go to Mount Kenya, it's members of parliament from Mount Kenya who are there. I never carry anybody from any other corner.
Okay, but
so let us be, let us put this to rest.
All right.
I have told you my position.
Okay.
I have told you these other people are grown-ups. Go look for them. Ask them this
question
and deal
Good enough. Good enough. Your Excellency, time to take a short break, but we still have a lot to discuss because the issue about the Deputy President and his relationship with the President, who he calls his friend, is not yet over. So when we come back, I still have one or two questions about your relationship with President.
When are we going to discuss about
we are going to discuss, so we have time. We have time. We're going to discuss that. Let's take a break. We're back from Karen.
Betika community is a movement. We started this initiative to support grassroots talent because we want to change and transform lives.
Ball imechange maisha yangu. Ball imefanya nimerudi shule, nimemaliza shule. Hope sana ball itanisaidia.
At Betika we saw the amazing talent that our youth have in football around Kenya, and we said, what are the challenges that these teams and these young people are facing? And the most immediate need for them was football kits.
Tumepata uniform safi, tutakuwa tunatumia kwa tournament, so tuko ready kupiga shughuli.
Every winning team will take home a cash prize of 200,000. They get to nominate a community project in their area. Our dream is to see our boys playing in those grand soccer stadiums across the world, and we'll be very proud when we see some of our Betikana community players in such tournaments.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
Kiungulia na kuvimbiwa? Ino inatibu ndani ya sekunde 6 na inatuliza dalili 6 za kiungulia. Kwa hivyo unaweza kuburudika bila kikomo. Ino, tibu haraka kiungulia na tumbo kuvimba.
Welcome to our big family. You see, in this family, we have fun together and we look out for each other because we care. We share whatever we have. We protect and support each other. Welcome home, where we love and care for each other. We're so excited that you're joining us.
Welcome to the new member of our Nivea family. New Nivea Petroleum Jelly Essence, enriched with glycerin for long-lasting moisture and protection.
Hamuwezi kunifukuza ODM ati mkanifuata ati mnanifukuza Jubilee. Haiwezekani. Nifukuza ODM ati mkanifuata ati mnanifukuza Jubilee. Haiwezekani.
All right. Deputy President, that was one of your concerns then when you spoke about Raila Odinga coming to the Jubilee Party. My question is, do you think your position in the Jubilee Party was compromised by the arrival of Raila Odinga and by extension the handshake?
Ken, the handshake was a very good idea to try and bring people together, right? And that was my understanding with the president when he rolled out this handshake. And without a doubt, the handshake has benefits. You know, the handshake has at least proven that you can compete, you can be political adversaries, but it is possible for you to sit down and put your differences aside and work towards national unity. That the handshake has proven. But at the same time, there are unintended, maybe, consequences, right? As a consequence, we lost the opposition. As we talk today, what was NASA has disintegrated. That is the truth. So the opposition became a casualty. And on the other hand, the Jubilee Party has issues. We now have some gang calling themselves
the camps,
Tanga Tanga, the camps calling themselves Kieleweke, right? And therein lies the issue. You know, we cannot pretend that these issues are not there.
Okay.
And if you are pursuing inclusivity, national unity, and the result is that the opposition has disintegrated. ODM has called their former partners leeches. Jubilee on this other end, we have people divided. You know, that is something that we must agree needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Otherwise,
yeah,
a very noble idea of bringing people together may give a result of people getting divided.
Do you feel his arrival has also, because I know you will tell me about the nominations of your political party, but do you think it also compromised you succeeding President Kenyatta? His arrival, and now the fact that the way you said this handshake has brought a few issues here and there. Do you think it's also, apart from just compromising your position and the unity of Jubilee, do you think it has also compromised your succession politics in terms of succeeding President Kenyatta?
Let me tell you, Ken, at the moment, my preoccupation as William Ruto and as Deputy President is to ensure that I perform my constitutional responsibility to support Uhuru Kenyatta in the delivery of the Jubilee Manifesto and the Big Four.
All right.
I wake up, I sleep pursuing that agenda. As for what happens in terms of succession, there is time for that, and the opportunity will come, and we will deal with it.
All right. Let's play this soundbite, and then tell me what you think.
Tumekubaliana tumalize hii miaka mitano jameni, mimi niende nipumzike, Ruto ashikilia asukume huko mbele, dunia hiyo iendelee. Haoni namna gani jameni? Ruto ashikilia asukume huko mbele, dunia hiyo iendelee. Haoni namna gani jameni?
All right, Deputy President, do you think that promise is still alive?
You see, let me tell you what we agreed with Uhuru Kenyatta when we structured a political partnership. We agreed on two things. We agreed, number one, that whatever it takes, and by the way, it was not about winning an election or losing an election, right?
That's the first time
in 2012.
13, yes.
We must get rid of the politics of ethnicity that brings about violence and hate. And we said, whether we win or lose, and for your information, to be able to structure a relationship between Uhuru Kenyatta coming from Central Province and William Ruto coming from Rift Valley, which have seen a lot of property destroyed and a lot of lives lost, was not a simple assignment, right? We decided.
But it happened.
And that happened.
Yes.
Number two, we agreed that we will form a political formation and eventually a political party big enough to carry the aspirations of small communities and big communities. And we have achieved both. We have today the Jubilee administration, or the Jubilee party for that matter, that has 175 members of parliament. The largest ever political party after the one-party state is the Jubilee Party. So those are the two cardinal issues. And
It was
never about elections, winning or losing. It was about getting a firm foundation for Kenya going into the future.
So whether he doesn't hold his end of the bargain, it doesn't matter.
Let me tell you also, I supported Uhuru Kenyatta, not because I wanted him to support me when my time came.
He made the promise himself.
But when I supported Uhuru Kenyatta, it was not because I wanted him to support me thereafter. And I never made a claim, and I never gave Uhuru Kenyatta a condition that I will support you so that you support me. That condition was not
if
there.
Your boss doesn't hold his side of the bargain, you're okay with it.
The one thing that I know Uhuru Kenyatta as president of Kenya, but more as Jubilee party leader, is that he is going to support the candidate of Jubilee when that time comes. And I want to tell you, if that candidate is going to be William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta will support. If that candidate will be somebody else, not just Uhuru Kenyatta,
even you,
even me,
will support
that other candidate. And I am so clear
about that. On the 13th of February last year, when you sat with Stephen Saka of the BBC, one of the things you told him is your understanding with the president is rock solid.
Yeah.
What was that understanding? Because you were talking about politics of succession, and if you felt pushed out. But you said
precisely what
your
I have told
understanding
you.
Is rock
My
solid.
understanding with the president is that we will have a political party. And for your information, to get rid of the politics of ethnicity and to give opportunity to any Kenyan from whatever community who have the capability to take Kenya to the next level, you must have a huge political party that cuts across communities, that cuts across regions, and that is what we have in Jubilee. And that is why, Ken, I will defend Jubilee with everything I have, because We agreed with Uhuru Kenyatta. It is the right thing for Kenyans so that we don't degenerate again. And why I get concerned when I see the opposition disintegrating and when I see Jubilee threatened with division. The net result of what will happen is that we will go back to the politics of ethnicity. This community will have a political party, that community will have another political party. And by the way, there are people who are actively funding this because they want to take us back. They want to take us back to the politics of ethnicity. My friend, I do not want this country to run the risk of politics of ethnicity that breeds hate and violence. We must move from here and go into the future.
On November 16th last year, when President Uhuru Kenyatta held a meeting at Sagana, one of the things that was proposed, and he mentioned it in a light manner, that you are talking about the position of a prime minister. If it comes, I'm okay with it. That's what the president said in Sagana last year. This is a man who shall have served 10 years. We have spoken about the BBI and the proposals. And we have also spoken about sharing positions, which you think is what's happening on the platform, and you don't like it. One of the positions that has been advanced in public is the position of Prime Minister, regardless of how it will be structured, weak, strong, or otherwise. But it's been muted, and the president, who's serving for 10 years, has said, ikikuja, he wouldn't mind. How does that sit with you as a deputy?
Don't you think that is a question you should ask His Excellency the President?
He has answered it. He doesn't mind. So I want your side. How does that sit with you? For President Kenyatta to serve 10 years, for them to come with a handshake and form the BBI and go out and sell it to the people, and your fear as the Deputy President is that they could be changing the narrative here from Bomas 1, as you term it. And we might have a position of a strong Prime Minister. And Uhuru Kenyatta is saying, if there's that position, he wouldn't mind. And Maki is not the only one. There are people on the campaign platform who have said he's too young to retire. So I'm asking you, how does that sit with you?
First, I was not in the Sagana meeting. These are reporting that is secondary, maybe tertiary. And you can never verify the authenticity of that story. I know Uhuru Kenyatta fairly well. He has told me more than once that he wants to run his 2 terms. He has a legacy to keep. And part of his push is for us to finish with all this so that he can actualize the Big 4 and his legacy programs, right? I have not had, as his deputy, I have never heard Uhuru Kenyatta say that he wants to extend his term in any manner, right? So until he pronounces himself on that issue, I will take it that these are stories, these are rumors, these are people who are talking, whatever they are talking. As for these other people who are saying Uhuru Kenyatta is young and all this, you know, it's not about age. 2 terms is 2 terms. Even if you ran when you are 21 and became president, by 31 you retire, you go and do something else. And by the way, when you get out of office, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that you die. It just means you move on, you go and do other things, you do other assignments. There is so many ways people can contribute to the nation. You know, in fact, all of us, the 47 million of us, are contributing to the building of this nation. We have only one president at any one time, you know. But Ken Mijungu is doing his bit in journalism. The next person is doing his bit in business. The other person is doing his bit in farming. And everybody is making their contribution, and that is what makes us a nation.
Well, I'm telling you, he said it at the Sagana meeting.
Were you there?
You were
yes,
not there, Ken.
our team was there in the Sagana meeting, and we
I
reported
mean,
it.
Ken,
We reported it.
Sure.
I'll tell you, we reported it.
You are not in the meeting.
We're going to find the soundbite and we are going to put it on air so that you know what President Uhuru Kenyatta said. Okay. Anyway, as we wait to find that soundbite where he said, "Iyo watu wanasema," let's talk about the proposals that are being made on the BBI, because I really want to end the BBI to go to something else. Apart from being the principal assistant of the president and doing what you do, there's so many proposals that are coming right now that could be incorporated in the BBI report. With hindsight, having been the deputy president for the last 8, you have 2 more. Would you recommend, for example, that the position of the deputy president be strengthened more than it is right now? Would you recommend that it has a more defined role rather than having assignments from your boss? Would you make such recommendations?
Why don't you wait? I have some proposals to
you have some
with
proposals.
the Yusuf Haji committee, and I will make my proposals at that time. Why don't you just be patient? It's going to take long.
Okay. After 28 years in politics, and I'm calculating from 1992.
Okay.
Then 1997 you first elected, if I'm not wrong, as Eldoret North Member of Parliament. It's now 28 years. What would you say that William Ruto has done in the last 28 years, that if he was to present himself to Kenyans for election today, he'll say, apart from just serving in the Jubilee government, and this is what we did with the Jubilee government, this is what William Ruto has done for the last 28 years?
I have a track record, a solid track record. From Eldoret North, where I was a member of parliament, if you go today to Eldoret North, they will tell you the member of parliament that turned around that constituency and removed all schools that were built of mud and changed the whole infrastructure of education in Eldoret North constituency. They have a story to tell you.
Okay, so you'll go back as far back as when you were a member of parliament.
As a Minister of Agriculture. My footprints in the Ministry of Agriculture are all over, from sorting out farmer issues, from sorting out the coffee debt issues. Under my watch, we paid 2.6 billion to sort out the coffee issues that had many farmers, their title deeds held by Cooperative Bank and many other banks. From making sure that there is a predictable price for maize, from ensuring that the prices of fertilizer came down from about 6,000 to 2,800. In fact, President Kibaki did not believe that we had actually brought down the prices of fertilizer. He asked me and my peers that he wanted himself to go and launch that program in Moisbridge, and we took him to Moisbridge.
Okay.
From my
Ministry of Agriculture?
Ministry of Higher Education. For your information, for 15 years, this country, if you finished your Form 4, you had to wait for 2 years to go to university. I sorted out that problem as Minister for Higher Education. And I made sure that there was transition. Today, when you finish university this year, when you finish Form 4 this year, you are in university next year. I started the program of TVET, which today we have built under the Jubilee administration 140 colleges. We have moved the number of students from under 100,000. Today we have 390 students in our TVET institutions. We are changing the paradigm of our education because of the foundation I laid when I was Minister for Higher Education. I started the program of ensuring that universities, because of Higher Education Loans Board, went out of its way to give loans not just to students in public universities, but to also students in private universities. And we are made, I have, when the time comes,
you are able to sell yourself as William Ruto.
I will do, and I am running for president. When, if I get the ticket of Jubilee, I will present myself, and I have a solid track record.
No Vice President, I know you are the first deputy president, has ever succeeded, apart from Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, who succeeded Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, no vice president has ever made it to the top. Just one answer. You believe you will break that curse of the vice presidents?
Why not?
Okay.
Is it a curse?
All right, because it's never happened,
But
so I'm wondering what it is.
But eventually Moi
became, but because of death after election.
Moi Kibaki became president.
Yes, but not succeeded straight from the president.
But he became president.
Yes, not succeeded straight. I'm just wondering straight from Uhuru Kenyatta to William.
There is always a first time.
There's always a first, and you believe. Let's talk about corruption a little bit right now. And you have been labeled the high priest of corruption.
By who? By Raila?
By your political opponent, who you have labeled also names, right? And the findings of an opinion poll that Ipsos in 2018 ranked you as the most corrupt politicians in the country at 33%, followed by Anne Waiguru at 31%, and former President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, and of course President Kenyatta was also ranked in this survey. So I want to ask you this question.
And why don't you mention that also Raila was ranked?
Raila Odinga was ranked. I'm looking at the top three. I'm looking at the top three. This question you've been asked several times, and I want to quote an interview you did with the BBC in 2019 about your wealth.
You've done some homework, my friend.
Yeah, and you told the BBC that when you asked about your net worth, you said the information is available, and you even advised that if you did some research prior, you would have not asked the question, you would know, and it's in the public domain. You asked them to Google it and referred them to Parliament's website. Well, we have looked for that information. We don't seem to be able to get it. So my question to you tonight is, would you state, this question you've been asked several times, would you state your net worth to the public?
First, I think, Ken, the same way I've seen you are very good at doing homework. You know, you've done a really good job with homework. But I don't know why you failed on the one of looking for William Ruto's net worth.
I have.
That you have come to.
I have.
So, yes. Let me tell you the following. Number one, I am the only politician who, when I come to, in fact, I was expecting this question. Yeah, I am the only politician who gets asked this question. No other politician is asked this question. That's number one. Number two, when I supported Raila Odinga, I was never asked about my net worth. When I supported Uhuru Kenyatta, I was never asked about my net worth.
And now we are asking.
Now you are asking.
Yes.
Are you telling me, is your question that Mr. William Ruto, why are you daring to run for president when you are the son of a peasant? Is that your question?
No, that's not my question.
That's your question?
No, my question is
because why isn't anybody else asked this question? Why I have never been asked this question until people realized that
running for president.
That William Ruto could possibly run for president. And let me tell you, my friend, I am sure that there are many people, and I want to tell you for the record, there are many people I went to school with, both in primary, in secondary, and in university. There are thousands of people of my age, people who share the same background as me, children of the nobodies, right? But today, after 20, 30, 40 years, they own a property in Karen, or they own a property in some estate, or they own something in this town. Are you telling me, because that's what you're saying, because you build this around corruption, are you telling me all these thousands of young people, and there are many, yeah, who today live in Karen, they live in Lavington, they live in Kileleshwa, who had a humble background the way I did, are you telling all those people are corrupt?
No.
That they are where they are because they are corrupt?
They're not running for public office.
Correct.
Yes.
So Are you telling me my crime, you would not bother with me? My crime, and that's why you want to say I'm corrupt, is because I am daring to run for public office? Is that
it's
what
a
you're
greater
saying?
calling.
And for your
it's
information,
a greater calling than they have.
Are you telling me, Ken, that it is okay to be corrupt as long as you're not running for public office? Is that what you're saying?
You told Citizen once that corruption cannot stop a leader from delivering their mandate.
Let me tell you. Let me finish this story. What you are, the way the more I listen to you, the more you're telling me that if you are a son of a peasant like William Ruto, you should never run for public office.
That's not
and
what
you
I'm
should
saying.
never run for president.
That's what, Your Excellency, what I'm asking.
Nobody bothered me. And for your information,
before you ran for president,
I want to tell you
yes,
that maybe Jomo Kenyatta is lucky that he didn't run for president in our times, because he would have been asked, you, a meter reader in City Hall, how did you get yourself here? Or for that record, Moi would have been asked, you a primary school teacher from Sacho, how did you get yourself here? You know, you must be corrupt, you must be this, you must be this. My friend, let me tell you, please let us accept that there are children of people from humble background who, through hard work, through doing diligently what they are doing, they have gotten themselves somewhere. Please, let me beg you.
I'll take you back there, Your
It is so
Excellency.
unfair,
yes,
yeah, to run a narrative that you can only have money if your father was something. And if your father was nothing, you should be poor, you should have no money, and if you have money, you must have stolen. That is not a gospel that is taking us anywhere.
You are on record as having supported BBI 1.
Yes.
And BBI 1 has one of the recommendations, and you have supported as it is, and you actually think it's going to be mutilated by what's happening on the podium. If you support BBI 1, one of the recommendations is to declare wealth. If you support it like you state,
yes,
would you want to be an example? Because when you asked me why I haven't been diligent to check for this information, one, no one is willing to share this information because it's private. People have gone to court to stop people from accessing private information. It's for the use of the agencies that are clearing these politicians. But no one is willing to share this information about the wealth of William Ruto. So now, in the spirit of supporting the BBI 1, do you think you will be the first politician to publicly declare what you have in the spirit of supporting BBI 1, the way you've stated? Do you think you will be the first politician to do it? Just a simple answer. Would you be that person?
Ken, surely. You know, surely. You know, why is this issue of wealth
it's a requirement?
A very big issue when you have William Ruto. You never ask anybody else.
No, we asked.
The president said that there will be law that will be passed for a lifestyle audit. The president himself said he will be number 1, and this man, William Ruto, will be number 2. So, what is the problem? I have absolutely no issue. I declare wealth every 2 years as required by law. When the requirement to make it public will be passed, I mean, it's not for me to choose whether to obey the law or not. Every Kenyan will know what William Ruto owns.
You have mentioned the son of a peasant and all, and perhaps that's the reason why we're asking. So I'll take you back to your journey. 1992 is the first time William Ruto was introduced to the public light with YK92, when you're youth. You were barely 26 years, so you're 26 years then. Presumably, you are a teacher at some point, a preacher, and then you became a chicken seller. In 1997, you became MP for Eldoret North, all the way to when you went 2013, 2012 when you ran for a joint ticket with President Uhuru Kenyatta. You served in the cabinet also, right, before then. In the 28 years of your active politics, having enumerated your journey from 1992, where you have admitted yourself, preacher, chicken seller, sometimes a teacher, then politics, YK92, you think this period of 28 years, you're capable to have done what you have done today, with the little we know that has not been made public by you, that you cannot tell us how much you're worth. Because if you told us I am worth $1 billion shillings, I'll ask you, in the 28 years, you think it's possible to have amassed 1 billion shillings, but we don't know how much you have.
How did you have $1 billion shillings?
Now I'm asking, for example, if you told me,
Okay.
if you told me you're worth $1 billion shillings,
Let
I
me
will
ask
ask you a direct question.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How old is Sugabaga? On Facebook. How old is he?
Just getting out of teenage, getting out of youth.
How much is he worth?
Billions of shillings, but Your Excellency, we're talking about your journey.
You cannot tell me that a teenager can possibly be the richest man on earth, and a 53-year-old man should own nothing. I mean, surely, give me some credit.
Okay.
I'm a businessman.
You're a businessman.
I work hard. I have been a public servant, for member of parliament for close to 25 years. I have been deputy president now for 8 years. Surely.
Why is it not so easy for you just to state this position the same way you're stating these other positions?
Which other position? Which other
Just
position?
how much is William Ruto worth? Why is it so difficult? Why is it information that is held too close to your chest?
My friend, it is because of the deceit that is around this question. And it is because nobody gets asked this question except William Ruto. The day you ask these other people and they answer, then
we come back and answer you.
Yeah.
You once told Citizen TV in an interview that corruption cannot stop a leader from delivering. That's April last year. At the same time, we have the DPP going to court to push for people who are corrupt, indicted of corruption and mismanagement of public funds, which you are against, being told you need to step aside and wait for the due process to take its course. Yet, you believe, as William Ruto, your own words, that corruption has never stopped a leader from delivering their mandate. Are you saying that these people should not be asked to step aside? What are you saying? Is that what you were saying? That they should be left to continue with their work even as the due process carries on?
That's your statement, it's not mine.
That's a statement you made on Citizen.
No, I'm talking about this last statement.
Okay.
When I made the statement that corruption cannot stop a leader from delivering, right? This is my context. I said, we delivered on the SGR, yeah? Corruption did not stop us from delivering our commitment as a Jubilee administration. We delivered the SGR. We delivered the huge program on electrification. We have delivered the big program on TVET. We delivered the big program on NHIF. We've delivered the big program on many other programs that we have delivered. Sometimes when leaders don't have a vision, when they have no practical program that they can deliver, they look for excuses. And some of the excuses is, oh, you know, I could not deliver because somebody was against me. I could not deliver because this tribe or ethnicity stopped me. I could not deliver because of corruption. In fact, so it ends up being an excuse for people who are incompetent, right? We must fight corruption. And in fact, if there is any administration that has given resources, that has given goodwill for the fight against corruption, and for your information, I have never said that those who are charged should not step aside. I have never said that. I don't know where you found that.
The context of that statement, which is good.
No,
now we get the context of that statement.
Which you completely misunderstood.
So we've got the context of that statement.
I have said that that's the context of that statement. And by the way, if I get the opportunity to run a government there will be no corruption because there will be no money to steal, because every coin will be used. There will be no coin that will be loitering anywhere for anybody to steal.
Okay.
Government will be functioning like clockwork.
All right. Do you have trust in these institutions that investigate corruption?
And why not?
Because I'll take you back to this. The reason why, in your presence, once more, Elgeyo Marakwet, Senator.
Please, Ken.
I'm trying to establish that if you really trust these institutions, then you should be able to stop these narratives.
No, but you see,
yes.
I am not a prefect. Why are you reducing me? I'm the Deputy President of Kenya. When did you reduce me to go and supervise people who talks what, and why do you want me to?
This is your government, Deputy President.
To acquire that kind of...
This is your government. The failure and success of this government determines where you go next, and you've said it.
Absolutely.
Yourself. Yes. When President Uhuru Kenyatta is firm on fighting corruption,
yes,
and he's empowered the DCI and the DPP, and in your presence, all these people that I'm about to read, but you want me to read because you want me to direct this to them, accuse him of politicizing the war on corruption and targeting some people. My question again is, this is your government. Why don't you stop them? Because the success and failure...
Let me tell you this. Every institution, including the executive, including the legislature, including every independent institution, is subject to public scrutiny. If the accusations being made by all these people have no basis, right, nobody should bother. You know? So, I mean, these are people's representatives, and they express what they feel.
So you're not going to stop them,
and there will
Your
be
Excellency.
no offense. Let me tell you,
yes.
there is no offense, because it doesn't matter how much people criticize. It doesn't matter how many politicians speak and how they speak. If the institutions are discharging their responsibility and mandate within the law, and they are not biased as they being alleged by the politicians, it will never stop them from doing anything.
But even you have said that they have politicized the war on corruption. They are being used, you've alluded to the fact that they are being used to scuttle the development agenda of Jubilee government. And this precisely, you said it during the investigation of the Aurora and Kimoret dams. You said they're being used politically.
For your information,
yes,
on that particular issue, as Deputy President of Kenya, there is allegation that was being pushed that the government of Kenya, presided over by Uhuru Kenyatta and myself as Deputy President, lost 63 billion shillings in one transaction of Kimoret and Aurora. And I asked myself, really? Is it possible that with us sitting in office, that the government of Kenya can lose that amount of money?
Was it 21 billion shillings?
It is a fallacy. Even 21 billion shillings. To lose 21 billion shillings, it's a fallacy.
But this question you were asked before about it.
You know, that's exactly what I am saying.
Yes.
So anybody who tells the public that the government of Kenya, with William Ruto sitting in office as deputy CEO, lost 21 billion shillings, and you want me to sit there and say, yes, we lost 21 billion shillings, I have to be mad.
Remarkably.
Because that's not the case.
Remarkably,
and it will never be the case.
The whole government, including President Uhuru Kenyatta, it's only William Ruto who defended this position.
Absolutely, and I will defend it because it's the right position.
Why don't?
And up to today, the Kimoret and the Aurora have not been cancelled because they were legitimate programs, you know, that are there in place.
But a review was ordered to all these projects.
A review was ordered, which is within the law, but it doesn't say there was any illegality or there was any money lost.
Because the investigations are currently underway, and we have people in court regarding this. They were just indicted the other day.
Absolutely.
By the DPP.
But has it been proven that any money was
lost?
It's
still in court.
It is my position.
Yes.
And I am saying this sitting here as Deputy President, not a coin.
At the end of it, that's what we'll find out, which is a good thing for Kenyans. I'd like to play these other soundbites, Your Excellency, then we come back. Your Excellency, then we come back. It's okay, it's okay.
Nataka kuingiana na mambo ya ufisadi, wapende wasipende, rafiki ama adui, ndugu ama dada, wewe kama unataka kuingiana na mambo ya ufisadi, yeah, tutapigana na wewe. You can be my brother, you can be my sister, you can be my closest political ally, you can be whatever you are, but you are an enemy of the Republic of Kenya, and we will fight with you. But you are an enemy of the Republic of Kenya, and we will fight with you.
Your Excellency, in what context did the President make this remark?
You should tell me.
The reason why I'm asking, the President mentioned...
Because what the President has said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with what the President has said. He said what is perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
The question there is, now, having heard that, is do you feel the war on corruption is also targeting you? Right at the top, we mentioned the opened investigations. And you said there'll be a lot of things. You even mentioned reviving of the ICC case. Is this one of those cases that you believe that...
There will be games, Ken. There is the fight against corruption, which is about corruption. But there will be issues about politics, right? And I have told you, it doesn't just end with matters to do with finance. It also goes all the way to even matters to do with ICC and all the shenanigans around it. It doesn't even stop there. It has all manner of manifestations. And I want to tell you, those games will be there, but we will deal with them.
Okay. So a direct answer, a game that targets you?
I don't think so, until it becomes obvious.
It becomes apparent. All right. Let's talk about just briefly, because I really need to run you really quick about the promises you made to Kenyans and why you lied to Kenyans with those promises in just a few. But I want to talk a little bit about...
lie is a very strong word. Relax.
Kenyans have complained, and you saw them on television complaining. Why you should change them with the promises you made. The party, Jubilee Party, you're the deputy party leader.
Yeah.
Have you... I asked you this question earlier. You didn't answer it directly. Do you think, as William Ruto, you have lost your controlling stake in the Jubilee Party? Because it was you together with other leaders, but at the top is you and President Uhuru Kenyatta. Do you think you've lost your controlling stake in the Jubilee Party?
In what manner? For your information, I made a conscious decision to cede the opportunity for me to be a co-partner with Uhuru Kenyatta when I decided that we are going to fold URP and TNA and all the other parties, and Uhuru Kenyatta becomes the president and the leader. You know, many people even ask me today, oh, did the president consult you when he was doing this? Did the president consult you when he was doing that? I want to tell you, Uhuru Kenyatta is the president of Kenya. We don't have a coalition government. We have a one-party government. The president has the ultimate responsibility to decide, and I only perform my constitutional duty when he asks me for my opinion. And I'm telling you when. It is not always, it is not a requirement for him to ask me about my opinion. So the president runs government, appoints ministers, changes ministers the way he wants, right? And so my position, and I chose, I was not forced.
Okay.
I chose to trust Uhuru Kenyatta and to defer to him on the leadership of both the party and government.
Are you isolated in the Jubilee Party?
Isolated?
Yes.
By
President Kenyatta?
All I have had is, all I read is that isolated when people were saying BBI has isolated William Ruto. Then I'm asking myself, how does BBI, which is about inclusivity and about unity, have isolation in the same statement?
Did you isolate yourself?
How do you achieve that?
By not being at the forefront of supporting BBI when you thought the proposals that were going to come were said to be tsunami and all that? Did you isolate yourself?
Forefront where do people determine where the forefront is?
Right at the beginning of this process. Right at the beginning.
I thought we have said, and I have made it public, that BBI 1 we support. Whatever other additions will be made, let every Kenyan be given an opportunity to give their views, to give their opinions, and whatever the outcome we will arrive at. And for your information, sometimes when I give my opinion, people think that you are against. It's a very pedestrian, mode of thinking. When somebody gives a different view, it doesn't necessarily mean they don't support. It just means there is a different perspective. There is a way of looking at it differently, and you can enrich what you're doing by allowing other opinions. In fact, other opinions is what builds the necessary consensus and enriches and making it robust and making it better.
In a case where your boss is involved, the president, you're saying you're giving a different opinion. We've talked about on whatever it is, a different opinion that you say. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you disagree, it just means it's an alternative opinion. So where your boss is involved and he's walking one way, and you seem to be giving this other opinion.
Like in what?
Like in the BBI. That's the
BBI.
biggest.
What is the problem with the BBI?
That's the biggest.
Uhuru Kenyatta supports BBI.
Yes.
William Ruto supports BBI.
At what point did you? Anyway, the question is,
what is the problem?
If you didn't isolate yourself and they didn't isolate you, do you think you're just a casualty?
Why? Why do you? How do you arrive at that, Ken? I am amazed. There is a very orchestrated, deliberate attempt to create division and a wedge between me and the president.
By who?
By all these stories, the one you are even pushing now. Because according to you, it is not possible for William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta to be reading from the same side on BBI. I don't know why.
Until
the
report was launched, Your Excellency, you read from a different script.
In which way?
Be honest with Kenyans.
In which way?
You read from you expected, because the other side said there will be a tsunami. There'll be this kind of
Did you hear the president say there was a tsunami?
No. The other side of the BBI and handshake arrangement.
Why are you confusing President Uhuru Kenyatta
No.
with Raila Odinga?
Raila
Odinga is a different person from
we are done
Kenyatta.
with President Uhuru Kenyatta.
And we are not, they are not the same. There is a problem when people begin to interpret what Raila Odinga says to mean that's what Uhuru Kenyatta says.
But when Uhuru Kenyatta says, me and my brother, we are together in this, it means they are together. So whatever Raila Odinga is supporting, probably and most definitely when it comes to the BBI and the handshake, there's reading from the same script.
So why don't you take the same view? If the president says this, why don't you say, if the president has said it, his deputy must be of the same mind? Why don't you say that?
Just the difference.
When it comes to my brother,
yes,
it is what Raila says is what the president must be saying.
But
when it comes to William Ruto, what the president says is not what the deputy is saying.
The BBI and the handshake.
That's why you are trying to find a fault.
Just on the BBI and the handshake. And let's be honest with this.
Even this whole problem, is because people are dead set in driving a wedge and dividing Jubilee and making sure there is us versus them. I want to tell you, Ken, we will not allow you. I will not allow you, and I will not allow anybody to create
a wedge
or to create camps, because that will play against the unity and inclusivity we are so much after.
Unity and inclusivity. Yeah. How strong is your party, the Jubilee Party, at this moment?
We have challenges in Jubilee Party. We haven't met as a party for the last 2 years. We've not had a PG. That's the correct position. We are going to have party elections, hopefully in March. But that is an in-house matter for us as a party. We will sit down, we will work it out, and we will move forward. My confidence is that when we set out with President Uhuru Kenyatta, we agreed that we must have a solid national party that will carry the aspirations of all Kenyans, majority of Kenyans, from across ethnicities, from across regions, from across religion, and take it forward.
But
and
you agree Jubilee Party is divided? Jubilee
Party has issues, but they are not as major as the one in the NASA. NASA is
let's stick to Jubilee. You agree Jubilee Party is divided. What is your relationship like with the party leaders and the NEC at the Jubilee Party, just briefly?
We haven't had a meeting of NEC as well, yeah. But you know, when we meet, there is basically agreement that there will come an opportunity for us to meet as NEC. There will come an opportunity for us to meet as PG. There will come an opportunity for us to organize our party so that we can move into the next election. And for your information, why the party is important, I am of the very strong belief that even the de-ethnicization of our politics will not be achieved by creating 2-3 positions in the constitution, ostensibly so that you have 4-5 communities.
Okay.
You know, in the accommodated in the national executive. That will not solve the de-ethnicization of our politics.
Okay.
What will solve the de-ethnicization of our politics is a national political party where a person, even from a small community,
has an
like happens in Tanzania. Tanzania, the secret of why Kikwete coming from a small tribe, of why Muni coming from the island became president, is because of the CCM party.
Okay.
And that is where we are going to sort out matters ethnicity. In fact, we run the very high risk. If we say we need to create 4-5 positions for 4-5 communities to be entrenched in the constitution, we run the risk of constitutionalizing marginalization, because 5 communities can
will not solve the problem
and lock out the 37 communities, and we will have a
your
big
relationship with the SG of your party.
Who?
Secretary General of your party.
Tuju.
Yes.
Yes.
What is the relationship?
I think Tuju has said it himself.
I'm asking you.
I am the deputy party leader.
Yes.
Tuju is the party secretary general, and there are no issues.
There are no issues. On July 15, 2019, you tweeted this. So our democracy is so liberal that the SG of a ruling party has become the chief strategist of an opposition.
Correct. And that I even asked Tuju himself directly. You know, when I heard what he was trying to say. But Tuju explained himself to me.
And you understood it. Why elections before March?
That is what the party constitution says, and that is what is demanded by the
what if it doesn't happen?
By the registrar of political parties. We are a responsible party.
And you want credible...
President
you want credible
is a Democrat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you want credible...
Is a Democrat.
Yes. You want credible elections for your party.
Absolutely.
We have to publish the registrar. We have to have registered members of the Jubilee Party. We are on the 20-something of January. Barely 2 months to go. You believe that duration is enough to organize for your party elections across the country?
Who tells you we don't have a party list already?
Published.
Who tells you
published. It hasn't been published.
Publication is a one-day event.
But we haven't seen it, so I'm asking, you believe this period is sufficient?
Once the timetable is released,
yes,
all those things will fall in place when that comes. And for your information, my friend, let me take you back a bit, you know, because we are talking about party, you know, what my thoughts are around this party. Even as we go out to BBI, and even as we go to make our views known, and even as we give our suggestions, I want to tell you, one of the greatest challenges we must deal with is not the sharing of positions by politicians. It is the creating of opportunity for millions of young people who do not have hope.
Can I talk about that specifically, just
briefly?
briefly?
They do not have a job.
Yes, can I talk about that?
And for your
briefly?
information,
yes,
if you thought that politicians, for lack of position, going to swear in, themselves in is a threat to Kenya. The bigger threat to Kenya is the millions of young people, many of them educated, who have no opportunity. That should concern us in this BBI report more than the sharing of positions.
For 2 years, Your Excellency, your party has not met. You haven't had a PG. You're organizing for an election. I'm thinking it's a very disorganized party. But anyway, apart from the fact that your constitution states the same, I'm sure your constitution also states that you should have had a PG at a particular point. The NEC should have met. How many NEC officials are still serving? And is this not the reason why you think by March we should have an election of the Jubilee Party?
You know, matters of Jubilee are matters of Jubilee Party. You know, we have enough party officials. I think we have 24 serving officials.
The NEC. I'm talking about
the NEC. Yeah, I'm talking about the NEC. I think we have 24 from the party leader downwards, right, who are serving. And they form a quorum of transacting the business of the party. What I want to tell you is that the Jubilee Party, we didn't form it out of by default. It was deliberate to bring Kenyans together. It is not lost on President Uhuru Kenyatta or myself that that was what we agreed. And the party gives us the opportunity and the platform to bring communities together and to bring the country together. If aside from that, we have a manifesto rolled out by the party that we must deliver on.
I want to talk about the manifesto lastly, because this is very important to Kenyans. But the question is, are you afraid that if elections are not held by March, you will cease being the deputy party leader of the Jubilee Party, and President Uhuru Kenyatta will cease being the party leader of the Jubilee Party, and you will not be able to influence anything because you will not be sitting in the NEC as per your constitution?
And that situation will not happen. We are responsible enough not to allow that situation to happen.
But if it happens,
I mean, this is the ruling party, my friend.
Yes.
This is the governing party. I mean, how reckless...
But you haven't met in 2 years, Your Excellency. You're a responsible party, but you haven't met for 2 years. Tell me, if you're a responsible party, the ruling party, why haven't you met for 2 years? So if you haven't met for 2 years...
the fact that we haven't met for 2 years does not mean that this party is not going to be there. I mean,
so you're not afraid that after March...
No, you're stretching it a bit too far.
So after, you're not worried about what will happen post-March? You're not worried about it?
I'm not worried at all.
All right, let's now talk briefly, just take about 5 minutes to talk about your development record, because this is your pet subject. You speak about it in every forum. You go tell us what Jubilee has done. But let me begin with this, because this is very important to Kenyans.
I know many people, I have heard many people discuss about, okay, you made promises, you haven't kept some of them. As we talk today, in 6 months' time, the stadium in Wote will be complete. In 3 months' time, the stadium in Chuka will be complete. In 3 months' time, the stadium in Moyale will be complete. In 6 months' time, the stadium in Kamarin in West Pokot, which is historic, will be complete. In a couple of months, the stadium in Eldoret will be complete. In Nyeri, the president gave the title. There was a challenge of title. Now we have a title, and now the program has been rolled out. In Kiambu, in another 3-4 months, the stadium will be complete. We have challenges. We have a small challenge in Mombasa because the county government has issues of ownership of the land, although all the contracts and everything has been signed for, including the tartan for the stadium is in place. We have a small challenge again in Kisumu because the county government has not relocated the dumping site, which is next to the stadium, and international requirements dictate that you cannot have a dumping site side by side with a stadium. As soon as that is relocated, that process will be complete. So instead of 5 stadiums, we actually went for 9, just to make it good and to make it better. We actually went for 9, just to make it good and to make it better.
All right, Your Excellency, why did you lie to Kenyans on that podium? You have seen side by side the pictures of the stadiums you mentioned. In 2-3 months, 2017, before the election came and went. We are in 2020. Why did you lie to Kenyans about the stadiums?
I think lie is a very heavy word. Let me tell you, Ken. If you take our commitments, the commitments we made in Jubilee, we made a commitment about the railway, we made a commitment about the roads, we made a commitment about electricity, we made a commitment about TVET, we made many commitments, including the stadium. Assuming that you're right, that not much has happened with the stadium, and we have delivered on 8 out of 10 of our commitments. Have we failed? Did we lie?
Assuming.
You know?
Yes.
And for your information, yeah, that's why I'm telling you, because we have delivered on our programs. Yeah? This particular one, and I was expecting, this particular one about the stadium is the one issue consistently that you have. This is actually the only project you have.
No, we talk about unemployment.
No,
we talk about unemployment.
This is the only project you have.
We talk about unemployment.
In fact, if we had failed, you would not be bringing this stadium every time. You would be bringing something else. But you have looked for anything else to bring on our commitments. You have not found.
Employment.
Let me tell you the following.
Yes.
Let's go back to the stadium. Yes, in 2007, the president and myself, and for your information, you know, it is being, whenever William Ruto appears, it is being made to look like William Ruto was supposed to look for money from his pocket to go and construct the stadium.
Is that the problem?
You know, that's what you seem to be saying.
No.
You know, this is a Jubilee program, number one. Number two, if you go today to Wote, is there a stadium or is there not a stadium? The stadium is in Wote has been built. It is not complete. The stadium, everywhere I have mentioned there, the stadiums have been built, they are not complete.
But you promised
many of them. Let me finish. In 2017, we didn't anticipate a repeat election. We went into a repeat election, we spent another 15 billion shillings. This is public money, right? In some of the cases that are not complete, we ran into trouble with contractors, like Nyeri, like many other areas. And when you run into a problem with contractors, you go to court, takes 2-3 years to sort matters in court. But let me tell you, as an administration, we are going to deliver on this project.
Okay.
And in a short while, yeah, before the next election, you will have to look for something else to ask me. And let me also tell you the following, Ken, that on this subject, we ran into issues, but the stadium in Moyale is there. The stadium in every other place. It is only that they are not complete. On the time that we stated as an administration, if you look, for example, at the Jubilee Manifesto, we talked about the expressway in 2013. The expressway that we are now embarking on, that will be that the president launched the other day, is now being delivered. So,
in other words,
let me tell you,
promising this will happen.
The fact that there is delay on delivery of one program or another program does not amount to a lie, and it doesn't amount to reneging on our commitment.
I'm glad. You have said before the election they'll be complete. Perhaps,
and you'll have to look for something else.
No,
to ask
perhaps you will use their completion to campaign. That
Why
you
not?
see, we asked and we delivered,
what
even as we look for something else. But tell me just,
what is wrong with that, Ken?
There's nothing wrong except that you promised us in months and it's not happened. Okay. And now you've given the excuse of money, and you're the government with the court cases and all. I believe they can be resolved. Yeah. But there's no money. All the sound bites that we played when we began the show, there is no money in people's pockets. Mm-hmm. There is no employment for the young people. This is also one of the commitments you made. Apprentice, paid apprentice. It's not happening. It's also a promise that was empty. It's not, paid apprentice is not happening. You promised 1 million jobs. It's not happening. So these are also promises that you made that have not been fulfilled. So it's not only the stadium. Yes.
Okay, Ken. It is true, yeah, that we have difficult economic situations, you know. And let me tell you, our first 5 years, you know, we ran our programs the first 5 years. In fact, in the first 5 years, we made many decisions, right? The boardroom that is just next to this, I spent many hours with ministers, with permanent secretaries, with directors of institutions, with director generals of institutions, to fashion many things. We worked on the SGR. In fact, we had so much trouble with the SGR, the president had to issue a statement with the entire cabinet that we are going to construct the SGR anyway, despite the opposition that was there. In my boardroom here, we made the decision to have 3 categories of roads: the trunk roads, the stage construction, and the low volume roads. That's why we have a huge rollout of the road network in our country. We made the decision on how to change the frame of the electrification of the country. We made the change on Tibet. We made many decisions, and we delivered. The problem we have the last 2 years, because we were building a base with infrastructure, with energy, with human capital development. These 5 years, we brought in the Big Four, yeah, the president's Big Four, which is supposed now to, building on that framework, number 1, universal health coverage, to make sure that people are not finding it difficult and expensive to meet their health bills. Food security, food production, agro-processing, value addition, to deal with the problem of the cost of living and to ensure that we build on that base. The whole issue of housing, by the way, housing, and many people are asking us, what are you talking about housing? Why everybody has their own house? What is this housing about? The housing is not about the houses. The housing is about the jobs. The 500,000 houses we intend to build, for every one house, you need 5 young people.
It's still an intention.
No, it's not an intention. In fact,
you said
you will see the president in the next couple of weeks receiving the first batch of houses constructed in Nairobi.
It's underway.
You saw the president launch the 17,000 houses in Mlolongo. They're beginning the construction. So that is the problem. The problem, Ken, is that the last 2 years we ran into headwinds because the understanding of the other players, the legislature, the bureaucrats, was not at the same speed. So time was lost to connect what we had done in the last 5 years and what we are doing in the next in these second 5 years.
Good enough.
And also a bit of time has been expended and energy on the BBI process and the handshake to try and bring the country together. And because of the expenditure of resources and energy in that direction, that is why there is a gap between what we did the last 5 years and what we have managed to do the last 2 years, going into the next 3 years. But I think the programs now are gaining traction.
This will happen. Yeah. Money will be back in the pockets of majority.
Absolutely.
Young people will get jobs.
Absolutely. In fact, the whole housing program is about nothing but jobs.
I wanted to ask you about additional industries that were to be created that were supposed to provide these jobs. But anyway, Your Excellency, I've taken a lot of your time. And before we leave, I'd just like to ask you this question. from outside, you have everything. You're a man of God. You're a wealthy man. You have a plumb position in government. You're the second in command in the country. Are you happy?
I am a very happy man. My friend, I sleep very well. I sleep 8 hours. Yeah? And for your information, I am never bothered by, I see many people worry about many things. You know? I may not have all the things you have said. You know, they have said many things, you know, about this and that and that and that. But I am truly blessed.
Okay.
From where I have come from to where I am today, I cannot complain.
All right.
Yeah. God has been kind to me. The people of Kenya have been more than fair to me. I mean, I have participated in 5 elections.
Successfully?
Actually, 7 elections.
Probably only the 92 one wasn't successful.
No, I'm saying as a person. I never ran in 1992.
No, 2002.
Yeah.
When you supported
in
President.
2002, yes. Although I never lost as a member of parliament, but we didn't win the presidency. Okay. So God has been kind to me.
And good to you.
I cannot complain.
All right.
And it would be unfair for me to complain to anybody.
We have pressure, just all the time, pressures of life, and people have different ways of unwinding. Others drink, go to the club, as do other things. What do you do when you have pressure and you need to relieve your pressure?
You know, I don't know how to put it, but I have never found myself with pressure.
Okay.
I take everything as it comes, you know. If I worried about
your job
things,
is I
would be dead. If I were to, you know,
worry a little bit about what's happening.
It is very difficult to be William Ruto.
Yes. That's why I asked you if you are happy, because we know it's
but
very difficult.
God has been graceful to me.
Okay.
You know, I take everything in its stride. I never take anything to heart, and I do what I can and leave the rest to God.
Great.
You know,
thank you, Your Excellency. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you, my good brother.
Thank you for sharing your perspective with
sana.
Kenyans.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
And we hope to do this again some other time.
Yes.
And thank you for watching. A lot of feedback. We will not be able to look at everything. It's a few minutes past 11. But Mark Musai is still in studio to close this for us. Mark?
My friend, thank you very much. It's all been 2 hours of that conversation, and people have been watching. We thank them for their time, but we're not relenting with our pursuits to bring to you the movers and shakers in the country. And yes, this particular Sunday, we will be bringing you an exclusive one-on-one interview with ODM party leader Raila Odinga. The former Prime Minister has confirmed to NTV that he will be speaking to NTV's Joseph Warungu, that is our consulting editor, one-on-one this coming Sunday. So stay with us. We'll bring you that hot interview at 9 p.m. You don't want to miss that. And that's where we end NTV Tonight Special Edition. You understand why. Thank you to, David Agondoa. Pole sana. That's been 2 hours of this. Kongole kwako. Have a good night. My name is Mark Masai.
This is NTV.
Be part of over 40,000 students pursuing and nurturing their career at Moi University. Enroll now. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
Molfix breathable surface developed with airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. you should also try Molfix.
Did you know? We are a leading African banking group with over 1,000 branches and almost 10,000 ATMs across the continent. Absa Group, serving Kenya as Barclays.
Why is your sister like that? She's so possessive. You know what, if I were you, I wouldn't let her do that.
That's not going to happen. Put your trust in us. Don't tell me you're getting cold feet. Well, it's hard to trust criminals.
Anna, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what happened.
Answer my question. Where is my son?
I don't know.
As you can see, I'm in prison. How could I kidnap my own grandson?
Stop acting like you're innocent,
don't
you
listen to
monster!
him, Anna.
No matter where you hide your men, I swear I'm going to find them, even in hell, you hear me?
That's JR, right? That's Anna's baby. Why do you have him, Mom?
Eldoret Technical Training Institute (ETTI) is a student-centered institution offering competency-based training and market-driven courses at higher diploma, and certificate level. Registration for January, May, and September 2020 intakes is ongoing in the following programs: Building and Civil Engineering, Business Administration and Commerce, Agriculture and Animal Health, Travel, Tourism and Hospitality Management, Education, Social Studies, Information Communication Technology, Accounting, Banking and Finance, Medical and Health Sciences, Journalism and Mass Communication. Apply now. SMS your details to the numbers on your screen. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Kupika kila mtu ajipikie yake. Na vyombo za nani? Kwa nani?
Am I not getting some?
Ice cream ya wageni. Wewe nitakuletea maji kwa jikoni.
A girl's gotta eat to keep up with you, Mr. Guns.
Well, that's absolutely correct.
This festive season, get a decoder with subscription at an unbelievable festive offer of only 1,490